are Pro Cannabis Media.
And welcome back to the Green Rush. We do this every Friday afternoon. I'm your host, David Rabinovich, joined by my good friend, Chris Dalton of Cannabis.net. We have Alyssa who's hanging with us, and I want to introduce Michael Ortal of Healing Calyx. Michael has been through a very interesting path trying to get into the business. Michael, introduce yourself, and then we're going to chat a little bit about some of the trials and tribulations that you've been through trying to get into the regulated side of this industry.
Sure. My name is Michael Ortal. I'm the president, CEO of Healing Calyx. We're currently pursuing a courier license, and we have plans to pursue retail locations in hopefully Cambridge, Somerville, and Boston, which obviously have the exclusivity periods. So we're trying to obviously social equity, applicant, and economic empowerment. We're going to try to capitalize on that situation. So, yeah.
So, Michael, tell us a little bit about what you've done in the legacy market, why you decided to get into and why you wanted to make the jump into the legal market.
Oof, I've been all kind of parts of the legacy market, starting back since elementary school and selling joints in 8th grade, and a little bit in high school, and growing.
I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah, I go way back, and then just eventually I guess the biggest accomplishments I could say that I had was a delivery service in New York City that I ended up selling 5 years later for a good amount of money. And it's, to my knowledge, it's still going on. And that was started in the 90s. So it was looking back, it was like, wow, why did you even sell? But it was always that constant, like Derek said, just looking over your shoulder and not sleeping at night, and not, just constantly looking in your rear view mirror. You always had the dreams that, damn, why couldn't this just be legal? So yeah, it was that. And then, got into more of the logistics end of it, and bringing the medicine back from West Coast to East Coast. I got hung up in Texas, where I was stopped and pulled over, and I ended up getting arrested, charged. A year later, they brought me back to court, and in Texas, they don't play it was a felony amount, and felony amounts over there go from 50 pounds to 2,000, right? So it didn't matter if you had 50 or 2,000. I could say this, I had 200 at the time of transport, and it was looking at 20 years was their max. So we pled out to 4 years, and someone was making comments about bologna sandwiches. Yeah, I had plenty of bologna sandwiches right here. OG, can I say it? Just putting it out there. It wasn't fun, coming out was a challenge too, because then it was probation, and then dealing with trying to get jobs on parole, and then trying to get jobs on parole, and then also trying to get a job with the felony behind you was not easy. I was doing mortgages. I had a great job offer in a really high-end financial firm, where it was going to be really, really good money. And then that felony followed me, and I didn't get that job. That was one of the biggest things. That was like going to be a job that was going to be kind of, where it was going to be, money that, would last for a long time, for generations, generational wealth. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, it's been a struggle. So when, Massachusetts came along and were, we were advocating for this, and they got adult use put in, and in the legislation they put the economic empowerment to go in. I went for it. I got it. And yeah, I mean, there's no looking over your shoulder. Hopefully, you had to drop your spurs at that point. Put them down. There's no more messing around, because you got this certificate in your hand that's like supposed to be the golden ticket to take us up, but it's not without its hurdles. There's a lot of bureaucracy involved, a lot of things the way the regs were set up that kind of made everything for economic empowerment pretty much a roadblock all the way up. So it's been some struggles. I've had a couple of deals go through, because the most important thing that you need to do is find the right partner. You get partners that that'll jerk you around for a year kicking tires and then pull the plug. Same with landlords, same with the watching out for predatory deals everywhere you look. And it was tough. And I was able to get through my networking and the people that I know in this industry, in the community, I was matched with a great partner for the courier. So we started a courier out in Holyoke, and that is now, we just actually today got deemed complete for our application. Yay!
Big day for both of you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I got deemed complete today too for operator.
Nice. Good for you. And so we're going to start off small and work it out. It's more for me, the courier, because I also have a fantastic partner that I also met for the retail side of it, and hopefully some cultivation and manufacturing as well. They want to try to max out my all my licenses. They were happy to and not try to backdoor me on any of my 51%, like most JVs do. These guys are really come with a mindful set of kind of what really is, like, they don't just want to throw money at a group and say, hey, we're doing our positive impact. They want to be positive about their impact. They really want to be mindful, and not just, like I said, throw money to, let's say, the prisoner project, where you really don't know where it's going, which is something close to my heart, because I went to prison for this plan. So I want to make sure that money's going right. And these guys are the same mindset of where we could dedicate and actually create another kind of a group that will help, that's not and we can control where that money is and where it's going, and where what's doing, and actually be mindful of what we're doing, not just throw money at it. The part of this giving is going to be, for me, is giving back, right? It's all about we're given this opportunity, and if we're going to be supposedly this generational wealth is going to be coming about, well, I mean, that just that's for me to, like, hey, that's a good time for you to be able to turn around and just give that back, like, pay it forward and do what you can. So those are important to me, and that's important to the new group that I'm working at, and that's where I'm at right now.
Michael, I've kind of asked every guest that's come on the cost and benefits to the consumer, how you're going to get over the higher prices from the legacy market to the legal retail market. Obviously, safety of product, safety of self when getting the product are two big things. What's your thoughts on, hey, the guys, the customers you had at legacy, getting them to buy higher priced legal retail, sorry.
I'm not trying to change what they that's a mindset, and you just gotta, for me, your customer segment is what's the most important, right? So I must see, although they might come over because my selections are maybe better because I hopefully be coming out at the same time as a couple other folks I know that'll be coming out that are going to be doing small craft grows and are going to be dedicated to their craft and not just big MSOs pumping out, that mids that they do and moldy mids at that. So, but it's, that's down the road. So we'll approach that. That's going to be hopefully my change at it. And I think that everybody says the same thing. Oh, I'm going to put out the best, but I look out there and I look at everybody's menu and everybody has the same exact thing from the same exact people. So it doesn't matter what dispensary you go to. The difference may be, oh, this is a little nicer looking, or, something else that might, capture you to go to that particular place. For me, it's going to be honestly, which one's the closest, if I'm buying from dispensaries. Fortunately, I can grow my own, and I do.
So I was just looking something up. Michael, you were in very good company when you were arrested in Texas, because on December 23rd, 1965 is probably one of the most famous marijuana arrests in Texas. Timothy Leary, the Harvard psychologist, was arrested, which eventually led to the Controlled Substance Act when they ruled the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act was illegal, or rather unconstitutional. So too bad. If we had been lucky, your arrest would have led to like the legalization of marijuana a second time.
Geez, I'd like to think that. Leave a legacy like that would be awesome.
A couple of the legacy guys, and you've all brought it up, have said, looking over your shoulder, sleeping at night, you may not make the money right off the bat that you were making, but it's the peace of mind. And can you talk a little bit of like, now that you're on, like you said, I'm all out of the other one, you can't be half and half. How do you sleep at night? You wake up with a smile and a cup of coffee, or is it, geez, boy, I made a lot more money the other way?
Well, at the moment, I made a lot more money the other way. These days, I got to do Lyft to keep the lights on, and I do what I can, whatever it is, whatever it takes, but do I sleep at night? I'm still not sleeping at night. I'm not worried about RFIs and deemed completes and, waiting for my provisional and, getting on the agenda. And those are other worries. And, there's always something that's going to keep you up at night. Right. So I guess the way to do it is just I've learned to just put these things out, I can't control them. But I'm going to be tackling the next step. But I need my sleep to get it.
I hear you. Wow. Very, very powerful there. And thank you for sharing that.
All right. I got to gear back up and come up with a question now.
Yeah, I was going to say, usually we go right to the, we have a live chat room. I think it's either on Twitch or YouTube. And I was wondering if we have any, usually Jimmy checks that, but I think with all the legacy guys, it's a really great, because there's so many people out there that original market, as we called it last week, that want to get in and like you said, making that transition, and you're going to worry about stuff at night that's totally different, but at least if you do everything right, you're not going to get arrested or raided, that type of no sleep. So
yeah, it's it sucks sleeping on that cold concrete, when and then it's processing and and not seeing your family for a long time. Being out in Texas, you were only allowed one visit a month. And then you had to have somebody come out there from east to come visit me, so it was, it was
I guess
fun.
Alyssa and Michael, what would you tell an applicant, whether it's SC and EE or a regular applicant, that you've learned if they're watching this show or they're going to watch the, the replay of it, something you could give advice, as you both got approved today. So very monumental day. Congratulations. Completed on one phase. What do you tell someone who's watching this for the first time and taking notes and they want to try? Go ahead, Alyssa.
I would definitely say to, like it's been said before, you really have to be all in. You got to cut what you were doing before. And I also think that you can never give up. Like we also talked about, there's so many hurdles, so many roadblocks, so many of these big companies that, really make you feel so little and powerless. Just never, ever give up, and put the work in, and how much energy you would put into what you were doing before, put even more in this, and it's fun and it's liberating. And what we were talking about with not sleeping at night, like I used to be like a crackhead, like one eye out of my window at home, so paranoid all the time, always looking over my shoulder, terrible dreams, never sleeping. And not having to feel that way now is absolutely priceless. And even better, knowing that I'm living out my dream, or at least trying to. Like the feeling is irreparable. Like it is just, it's undescribable. It's absolutely amazing. So I would just say, it's definitely bright on the other side. It's really hard, but if you don't give up and you're really passionate about, the plant, and I don't want to say patience, because, we're on the recreational side here, but the consumer, I really care about the people. So, if you really care about that, it's definitely the bright side over here, and it is hard, but you'll get through it.
Go ahead, Michael. What would you tell somebody that maybe has a felony conviction, or is coming from the legacy side, and listen to what would you tell them today if you're just getting started?
First thing I'm going to tell them is, what the mind can believe, the mind can achieve. Stay the course for sure. All that is well, but you take things day at a time. And you can't let the setbacks, you can't let them set you back. Sometimes a setback is really a setup for something better. And I believe that wholeheartedly, because everything that I've had setbacks on and all those roadblocks were for a reason, to put me where I am today.
Amen.
So
Michael, you had some let's talk landlords for a minute. You had, without getting into specifics and who and addresses, but tell us about what happened with you and your attempts to get going in Boston, and the landlord issues you ran into.
So yeah, I had a landlord that also wanted to invest, and he started kind of like moving the goalposts at the end. And just as we were close for my BEP designation, he just kind of like, that was it, just withdrew and left us hanging. And this took over about a year. By the time money spent, for attorneys to get an operating agreement, that should have been my first red flag, was when the investor wanted us to pay our own prospective percentages for attorney fees to get the operating agreement, knowing that we're economic empowerment, and that was probably the first red flag. So I don't know what the story was. I don't know why he pulled out at the end of the day. It could have been a bunch of reasons. I don't want to assume, but like I said, I'm not mad at it, because again, it put me in a better position where I am today. There was a better opportunity just right after that. So it was obviously frustrating. It was obviously, like going through it was, disheartening, and crushing, but you couldn't give up. You can't. You got to stay the course. You got to believe there's something better than this. Is not a setback. It's a setup for something better. And there it was. Plain and simple.
I'll share an interesting story. A few weeks ago, we're looking at a space in Boston, retail, and we speak to the landlord. We like the location a lot. Space needs a lot of work. It's not anywhere near move-in ready. Lots of work. The the landlord's going to get back to us pretty quickly. It took him about a week, which to me wasn't as big of a deal. But by the time he gets back to us, the price per square foot goes up by $1. Some of the things that were included in the rent are no longer included in the rent, like property taxes or things like that. And there's a pretty steep annual increase. When we renew, we have to renew at fair market value. And then there is a percentage of sales that's tacked in. So we got to give a small percentage of our sales to the landlord. Now, that had been common pre-COVID. And then when the landlords understood in COVID that the people who were really charging forward with the marijuana folks, all of a sudden things lightened up a little bit, right? And the landlord stopped with the gouging. So we found another location. Yesterday, we're in a call with the landlord who went from when we first replied and said, what if all these things have changed? It was kind of like, here's my answer for every one of them, right? He told us, well, this has changed. It's going to cost me more money to do this. I need that. So he's justifying all of these items, saying they're reasonable. As soon as he heard that we had another space in mind, all of a sudden the letter of intent became, well, that was just an opening point for a discussion. But by then it was like a day late and $1 short that because we'd found another place. But that's still a lot of what's going on with landlords trying to hold you over a barrel continues to go on.
So funny you say that, because the lease that I got was inclusive of that little percentage of the sales, and lawyer caught it obviously, and he said, no, we can't do this. What is that? And so brought it up to the league, goes, no, that was just using, one of the standard, because it was next to a dispensary anyway. So they were just using a standard lease that he had already for that. So he took it out because of Corey Howard house leases. There is no sales,
Yep.
Yeah, it was the same thing in Kittery, David, as you talked about earlier, and this is in our article on cannabis.net. Most of the landlords were, and I'll take 1.5% and this, that, and the other thing. And that's just to apply. That wasn't even that's just to put the letter in. That wasn't even getting a license. So
how much were they charging for the letters, Kurt?
This particularly, I can't speak to every building, obviously, that was up there taking possible tenants, but this particular landlord was anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000. So
and how many
regardless, four.
So that worked out pretty well for her, right?
Other than not getting a spot, which would have meant her building, goes up in value, and she would have probably been bought by that winner, in down the road. Yes. So that was just a cash payment for you to put my address on that application. You didn't win. Thanks for the donation.
Oh.
Wow.
So it's still going on. That's last week.
So do you think there's going to be much litigation? I've heard that there's an attorney who's going to sue on behalf of a social equity applicant up there, but who knows?
I didn't understand that because I don't know what the grounds would be. I mean, it's the town can make their own decision on whether they want to have SE and EE and how it works. So I don't know the basis for that lawsuit other than you should have done it. I don't know if there's legal grounds for that lawsuit, but we'll find out, I guess, if he goes through with it or she.
Yeah, cool. So let's, I'll tell you what, we're at 5:56. We've only got a few minutes left. Alyssa, tell us how somebody can find Lucky Green Ladies. And when do you think you're going to be open? Now that you've got the notice today, which your application is complete, which under Massachusetts law means in 90 days, within 90 days, you should have a provisional license, unless they give you a lot of requests for more information, which because you're pre-qualified, there shouldn't be that much. By the way, did you have to submit the full operating agreement or that simple one page of work?
Yep, they came back, and the diversity plan is and the positive impact, they were very critical of that. And I thought ours was good.
No. Because they're tired of, they think people are copying them. So you had to, did the one pager work for the operating agreement or no?
No.
No, it didn't. Okay, interesting. No. So how can somebody find you? When are you going to be
open or now to get in touch?
Well, let's say they want to get in touch. Somebody says, I like her. Boy, she looks like the person I want delivering weed to my house. How are they going to find you?
Well, I guess you can, for now, because I don't have a website, I guess you can friend me on Facebook or LinkedIn. And hopefully when we get our provisional up and going, we're gonna start working on an app. My brother is an app creator, so hopefully we'll have that advantage. And then, just lucky green ladies in Google. I probably, like you said, it'd be about 90 days to, get the provisional license. And then after that, probably another 90 days with build out and final approvals. So, just keep a lookout, type lucky green ladies in Google every once in a while. And, definitely hope that we can deliver to you soon.
Is there any chance in the next 90 days you could go to David's house every night and pack his bowl if his stepson isn't home?
Well, you know what? I have to go to David's house anyway, because
There you go.
I need to get lime from him for my grass.
Oh, yeah,
So-
that's right.
Well, charge him. Why don't you roll him a couple joints, charge him, we'll get the income going.
Oh, no, I don't think that, but I'll give it to him for free as a gift.
You can't, can we gift? I don't even know. We gotta be careful when you say that. Can't gift.
She's going to walk out with all of these industrial bags of really fine lime. And if she gets caught,
Yep.
she's going to start thinking it's cocaine. But
Oh,
anyway,
there you go. Oh, good. That's a new show. Good.
that'll be our next show for Saturdays. Michael, tell us about what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be doing it, and where people can find you.
So our next project is in Holyoke. That's where our courier delivery service is at. And our hopefully next week we'll be putting in for Cambridge for the CDD for our first initial meeting.
Cool.
So we're gathering up the information there.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Great.
exciting stuff ahead. We're looking forward to it.
Cool. Kurt,
Well,
any final closing comments?
We got to let them go. This is a great night for both of them. They got their approval today. They want to turn off the camera and go celebrate. I let them go. What are they talking to us for?
Wait, come on. You've been seeing Alyssa on the show. She's been celebrating all along.
Yeah, well, that's true too. You can't start too early.
I did puff before I got here, so
Well,
Hell yeah.
congratulations. That's a great moment to see that, what is it, approval, or you've gotten that stage. So I'm happy for you. You guys must be elated. So
Thank you.
yes.
Great. Well, listen, thanks to Alyssa and Michael for hanging with us till the end. I want to thank everybody for watching. This has been The Green Rush. We do this every week, 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm often now joined by Kurt Dalton of Cannabis.net, a great co-host. He keeps everything flowing well. And in honor of Jimmy, it's a whole new world of weed out there. Use it responsibly. See you next week. Thank you.
Weed Talk and In the Weeds are two productions of Pro Cannabis Media supported by Revolutionary Clinics, one of the top medical cannabis dispensaries in the Massachusetts area, now with 3 locations in Greater Boston, 2 in Cambridge and 1 on Broadway in Somerville. Rev Clinics has a patient-first mission. They will customize your needs as a medical patient with the proper titration and combination of strains, flavors, and products. Rev Clinics, where the patient comes first.
Difference is building a solution for that individual. Not just a custom, here's a box, here's a video, here's how you make your VMS. We custom design and custom build every situation for exactly what the customer needs. And we keep the cost low. We have multiple tiers, as far as what you're looking at on the cost side of things. If you want a one-time, where you just pay one initial cost, we have that. If you want to maintain your system and have the highest protection and highest capabilities and highest upgrades at all times, we have different plans for you. But we scale it so it's scalable and affordable 100%.
Pro Cannabis Media programming is available live and on demand on our Facebook page at Pro Canna Media, on Instagram at Pro Cannabis Media, on LinkedIn also at Pro Cannabis Media, on YouTube and YouTube Live on Pro Cannabis Media, Twitter at Pro Canna Media, and on twitch.tv/Pro Cannabis Media. So like, share, and subscribe to all of our content, newsletters, and shows live or on demand.
We are Pro Cannabis Media.